So it's about 5:30 a.m. right now, and I just got done editing this podcast that I shot this last weekend with a good friend of mine. And I kind of wanted to do a little introduction to it before I just put a podcast up on my channel. I want to do at least one of these a month, just to kind of get more creative people talking about their process and why they are doing what they're doing. I love talking to creatives. I love like the creative process. And this kid that I know, Gavin Cockrell, he's a high school student. He's still really young. He has a lot of ambition, and he's learned a lot so far. He's got a lot to learn still, but I think he does a great job. And it's just cool to kind of be able to put other creators out there. I'm not taking credit or anything like that for this, but I think that it's still a good platform to put people out there. And just to talk about smaller creators, I have a lot of respect for Gavin. I think that he's doing something really cool, and he'll probably be around for a very long time creating really cool content. So with that said, here's the podcast I shot this last weekend with him. Hope you guys enjoy. Comment down below all of your stuff that you guys would do differently, or if there's anything that you notice that you would like to change, or keep on doing what we're doing. So give it a thumbs up. Maybe give me a little one of those following things, a little bell notification. I don't ask for that very often, but I figured I'd start doing that here and there in my newer videos. So thank you very much, and we'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace. So I met Gavin through my last job. When I go into high schools, I'd help out high schools, and we would do all this stuff with them. And Gavin was there. His dad was a high school teacher. So I dealt a lot with his dad. And in that, I met Gavin, and how we kind of found common interests was he was really into film, and I've always been really into film. So we kind of like hit this off. And today I wanted him to come by and just kind of do like an interview session with how he got involved in it and kind of what his passions are and where he's going to take it as a filmmaker and as a creator on the YouTube platform or professionally or anything really. So with that said, Gavin, what was the main reason that you got involved with film, and how was this like something that's changed your life or brought you closer to other people?
Yeah, totally. I think the main reason that I got into film was because, I met other people through it.
Mm-hmm.
I made, connections and friendships through it. And I saw what you were doing and what other creators were doing. And I found that the ability to take something in its natural beauty and then put it into a video where other people can witness that was awesome. I mean, I jumped right on it. I was like, I need to get involved in this because I saw, landscapes that I could have never seen before, because I can't travel there. I got to see a really cool montage and video of it. So that's where I wanted to be like, I need to do this for other people and take something that they may not be able to see and put that in to a video form to where they can access it at any time, anywhere.
Yeah. So as far as like business type stuff, like what do you want to do in the future that might make you money in this industry, or have you already kind of created that atmosphere for yourself?
Yeah, so I am planning towards when I turn 18 to when I'm legally available to create a business. Hopefully on that day, I'll be able to go and obtain a business license. And I do want to make money in this industry because, I mean, I was talking with some other film creators, and they said that they love going and being able to shoot weddings and to take pictures of, a special moment for people. Because like I said before, those people are counting on you to have that memory of them, last forever. Right. They want to be able to access that anytime and remember that special moment.
Definitely.
So I think that I really want to, have a business to where I can wake up every morning and just be excited to go do something that I love, because I mean, filmmaking is, it's a really good way to relieve stress and it's just something that I love. So
I mean, it's definitely one of those things where like you wake up in the morning and like you just said, it's fun, it's entertaining. There is still going to be stress though, just so you know, with having your own business and running that kind of stuff. And we're just having like a conversation, like just normal people would, but like it's one of those things for sure that like you wake up, you get to go see and be involved in these really cool shoots and all this kind of stuff, and then it's like a dream, it's like all that kind of stuff, and then reality hits, and then you go back to your dream again, like it's a constant flow of like your own world though, which is so cool. You know, like when I worked for my previous employer and everything, it was their world. It was what they wanted to have happen. It's what they wanted to do and where they wanted to go with things. And I had a lot of freedom, which was really cool. And, you know, hats off to them for allowing that kind of stuff. But then when you have a mindset of like, I got to go do something and I got to create and I got to be able to kind of make my own way.
Yeah.
This, I think, is like one of the best platforms to do that, is like that video, photo, YouTube, commercials, like just everything you can do with this is just, it's never ending.
Yeah.
And so many people need this kind of a thing, you know, like commercials, like I said, or weddings, like you just said too, with the fact that like you're creating something for somebody to cherish and remember and kind of constantly just hold on to, which is cool. So yeah, with that said, I mean, do you have anything like dogs barking? Always love dogs barking. We can just take them out of this. It's no big deal. With that said, do you have like anything that like you want to like plug? I mean, we're not going to stop right now. Like, we're going to keep going for a while, but is there anything like you want to like plug or pull out of and like tell people like, you know, I don't like going down the road of thinking like what I want to talk about. I had a bunch of questions like lined out and stuff. So with being, how old are you? You're 17?
17. Yeah.
With you being 17, like what's the main priority in your life right now as far as, and it doesn't have to be film oriented. It could be like we talked about a little bit of this, like school, moving, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up kind of a thing? Cause you know, like you're still young, but like, what's the goal? Like, what's the goal in the next 10 years to like keep doing this kind of thing? Or is it to like really keep this as like a hobby or like, what would it be for you?
Yeah. So I think that the main thing that I want to do is focus on school. Definitely have film constantly going, you know, even if it's just one a week, you know, one a month, it's just a time for me to, you know, relieve some stress.
Digress or something.
Yeah. So school is definitely a main priority for me. You know, now being in college as a very young college student, you know, it is challenging because people don't take you as seriously as they would because in their mind you're still a kid.
Right.
So I think that, you know, it's a little bit tougher. So I definitely need to focus on that as much as I can. But I mean, film has always been there for me. You know, when I started it, you know, even if it was going out and shooting for 10 minutes, it was just a time for me to kind of like relieve anything that was on my mind. Like I didn't have to think about anything except for just that clip or that film. So now with the stress of college, that has been, you know, my kind of like anchor point. That's what I can hold on to, you know, throughout the week. Like I have one day where I'm not at school at all. So that's the day that I use to film anything that I want. And then the other days I focus on either editing it or, you know, I have a ton of homework. So it's like, I try to put that in there. But, I mean, my major aerospace engineering is quite intensive.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a hard one to tackle for sure.
And another way that I've found being able to, you know, like relieve not just stress alone, but kind of take my mind off of engineering because that's been something that I've done for 4 years now, competed in it, you know, is a minor. And that's where I'm also going to go. So I'm going to be majoring in aerospace engineering along with minoring in forensic science.
Oh, wow.
Because
that's quite the achievement. Right?
Yeah. Well, the thing that I, you know, really thought about was what am I going to do if aerospace engineering, you know, fails? You know, what happens if for some reason everything falls down a pit and I can't get out, you know? Like I won't have anything to back up on. And so I said, well, you know, minors are pretty, you know, 15 to 20 units, not that time consuming. You can just throw them in there every other semester, you know, whatever. And they're fun classes.
For sure.
You can pick what you want to do. So I have that to back up on. But then, like I said, like I want to have my business be something to where I can make extra money because that's crazy important in college. For sure. Extra money and then just that time to like it's a different type of stress, I guess you could say. Because I mean, you would know you've been doing this, but it's a better stress than thinking about life. You know,
no, it's a mental clarity. You know, like
definitely.
like we were just talking about before, like you wake up and it it feels fresh every day. You know, like it's not old yet. And granted, it's only been like 6 months for me, but I think that no matter what, like the continuing to be able to do your own thing and to be able to like do something that you're passionate about. It's always going to be work. Like you're always going to have work, you know, like I have to do this video for somebody that I may not want to do, or I have to take on this project because I need money, or, you know, so on and so forth. But at the same time, it's also a passion, and it's also something that like becomes fun and entertaining, even though it is work. You know, like,
definitely.
There's always that time. Like I got asked a really personal question by my previous employer. He said, you know, it's all fun in games right now. Like this is something you really want to do, like to have fun in doing it and all that kind of stuff. But when it becomes your main source of income and it becomes your main thing you're doing all day, do you still think that you'll find it as being fun?
Yeah.
And my response was the same. Like, yeah, like it is. Like, no matter what, this is like my passion. If I suck at it, it's still gonna be my passion.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna try, and even if I fail, like this is still my passion. So I'm gonna try as hard as I can to make it happen. So it's definitely like, it's so much fun to be able to do all of this, and even like be able to create on YouTube or Instagram or whatever it is, just the little short pieces or nuggets. You're still creating. Yeah. And that's the best part about it.
I mean, yeah, you have that freedom to do what you want. I mean, even if you do have to do something for a client, it's kind of in your control of what you do with it. The experience that I've been through, they kind of give you like a rough draft, you know, and then you get to put in those final details and create, you know, kind of how you would like it. But then along with that, you get to kind of experiment with how they would like it. And I mean, that's still creating an amazing thing, you know?
No, I mean, like the storyboarding process and all that kind of stuff. You're absolutely right. I mean, they give you a brief synopsis of what they want. Then you come back with your own creative twist to it. And then you create something, and then you both sit down and go, yeah, this is exactly what I want. Or in some cases, this isn't the exact scope I was looking for, but you're really close. Let's go back and like figure this out. But bringing it back to like your school type thing, that is going to be huge for you because you have something that you're good at and you can keep doing and make yourself better and better and better. And you're going to be in a very, really good, I mean, depending on where you go, but you're going to be in a good area to where you can just, Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to go do a wedding today. You know, like you can put yourself out there and go shoot a wedding, get paid $2,500 or whatever, and then keep that change because you're going to be, you know, probably have student loans or something like that. They'll take care of you for most things. But I think that, you know, it's such a good thing for you to have in your back pocket, you know, to be able to utilize it or use it whenever you want.
Well, yeah, I definitely think like where I'm going, San Jose, I mean, I don't want to live in San Jose. That's the thing, like we were talking about earlier, is that's not somewhere where I want to live. I love the school, but you know, the town isn't really for me. And as you saw in my last video, like Half Moon Bay, that's where I can really, that's like what I consider my second home besides Chico, you know? So that's where I want to be able to go. And Half Moon Bay is super big in weddings because it's a coastal town.
For sure.
And, you know, having the ability to put myself somewhere where I will have work, you know, because a lot of people like, you know, surfers, they want clips of them. They want films of them doing what they do. You know, right now it's Maverick season down there. So a lot of surfers from around the world come there. And to be there and to have that work, you know, in an area where these people need the work and they really want it. So, you know, that's what I'm kind of thinking about of positioning and living situations later on down the road is, you know, how am I going to better myself in for the business, for, you know, my school, for everything, you know,
for sure
around.
So I have a quick question for you. Like, what would be, if you could choose to do any kind of a film, like what film would it be? Like what type of genre or what kind of film would you want to make? Like a documentary, a wedding film, B-roll, like would it be a docu-series about something, or like what type of film would you want to make if you had the opportunity to do whatever you wanted to do?
Yeah, I think, like we talked about earlier, B-roll was really something that I ventured towards. Like I really found myself going towards B-roll because it was telling a story in an indirect way, so that someone's not in front of the camera like we are, you know, talking to, you know, whoever's watching. But B-roll was telling a story to where it's free to interpret anything. I mean, anyone can take it how they will. You know, even if it's not how you intended it, they can take it and they have a different message than someone else.
For sure.
I think that documentaries are awesome. Like, I think a docuseries would really be cool to create, but I definitely would find myself venturing towards like a cinematic B-roll style of film.
That's pretty interesting. See, to me, it's like a documentary. I mean, at some point I want to do a documentary. Like that's like the number one thing I want to do at some point, is just like start to finish an hour or 2 hours, like feature film length documentary with like everything in it, interviews, all that kind of stuff. I don't know why, but it just sounds like so much fun, like being able to travel around and kind of see new places and film that kind of stuff. And you maybe do some talking head in that area, and then you do like your cinematic B-rolls type stuff too. I don't know. Like I think that in creating like a film, because I mean, let's be real, like we're not the next Martin Scorsese or like, you know, George Lucas or anything. But at the same time, like we have a skill and you can utilize that for whatever you want.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can, and like the coolest part to me about like film in general is just being able to tell a story, like you said, through it, and your own story, you know, being able to like talk about, you know, I've talked about this with you before, like my homeless idea, you know, making like a homeless documentary about like going up to homeless people, like, where'd you come from? Why are you homeless here? Why did you choose Chico, or why did you choose Sacramento or San Francisco or whatever, you know? Yeah. Or like your idea with the time machine, like, you know, like I don't know, remember? Your how was it again? It was
so
like,
basically,
not to give away like an idea.
No, totally. No, it's because I kind of have it rolling right now, and I definitely want to get you involved in it. And some other creators, because I think it would be really cool to have multiple creators on this idea. But Stephen Hawking said that before he passed away, he said that the year 2600 was what he deemed to be the Earth completely unlivable, just from pollution, you know, garbage, waste, everything. You know, the overpopulation. And so my kind of theory going off of that was that, you know, at some point, the human population is going to leave. Like we're not going to be able to sustain life here.
Like Wall-E.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. So what I wanted to do is right now, while our Earth is still, you know, very livable, like even though we do have a lot of pollution, you know, we still have these beautiful landscapes.
For sure.
Before those are destroyed and we can't, you know, the next generations after us, you know, in those years won't have the ability to know what it was like. Definitely. They may have some pictures, but what I want to do is almost create a documentary of what Earth was like before humans.
So just kind of put it in like a time capsule or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it would be really cool to have almost like a timed release. Like a timed release system of when, you know, at a certain date, you know, even long after we're gone, to have it release, and these people, even if, you know, say a few hundred people watch it, it's going to grow because these people are going to say, you know, that was beautiful. Was,
for sure.
You know, what did we do? You know, like how, you know, just show all around the world. Like I want to be able to travel all around the world, you know, getting these really great footage from everywhere.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, and
sounds like a lot of fun. Like just even on like the fun aspect of that, being able to like just take in these beautiful landscapes or go to like the Eiffel Tower and you know, get all that kind of stuff. I mean, history is so cool, and just being able to like capture that would be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That sounds like a pretty cool idea.
I know. I definitely
keep rolling on that.
Yeah, definitely. I think when the business starts, it'll definitely be kicked off a little bit more. Yeah. It'll definitely be like a documentary B-roll you know, style film. Well, I do want to have like sit down, you know, talks like this with other people, you know, on their take of what's happening in the world. Definitely. And, you know, if there is any way to stop it, like how can we fix, you know, what's going wrong? And, you know, have these amazing shots of like the pyramids, you know, just these amazing landscapes that people don't really think about every day. Yeah. You know, a lot of people know that, you know, I'm just going to use the pyramids, for example, that they're beautiful, you know, and, but not many people can go there. Like I said earlier, like the travel aspect is you can access
kills a lot of dreams.
Yeah. I mean, but you can access this anytime you want, and you can go anywhere just, you know, via phone or VR, because VR is going crazy right now. And, you know, to be able to watch that video, you know, in a virtual reality setting would be, you know, stunning.
Have you thought about like creating a kind of VR type stuff?
Yeah. So I actually wanted, to start that, because I was looking in Premiere and After Effects and all these different platforms of editing, and I've heard that, I mean, with the new GoPro, the 3D, cameras or the 360 cameras, you know, you can do amazing things.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you've ever messed around with VR, I don't know if you have.
No, not much. I mean, I've watched a little bit here and there, like the Daydream for the Google Pixel or something like that, but that's about it.
I mean, with Oculus Rift as an example, the Google Earth on Oculus Rift is stunning. Like
really?
it takes my breath away every time.
That's pretty cool.
Because you have the ability to visit anywhere in the world.
You can actually like travel there.
Yeah, you can go. You can.
Can you like walk around?
Yeah, you can.
No way.
So Street View.
That's pretty cool.
Is basically, you know, someone employed by Google has gone around and taken these pictures.
Backpack 360 or whatever.
Yeah, and you have the ability. Like I think last week I traveled to Florida and went to Disney World. Okay, I've never been to Disney World. I've only been to Disneyland, and I walked completely around it.
No way.
Yeah, and I saw all of these, you know, stunning things that I wouldn't be able to see.
You're just walking around in front of the TV, or like what are you doing?
So basically, you are using. It's almost like you're using.
I've never messed around with VR like at all, so I don't know.
Yeah, so basically, you're using your hands and you're picking where you want to go.
Really?
So you pretty much you can walk around and you can walk up to something. So say there's like a statue there, you can walk up to it. And you know you can look at it, and you can interact with different things, and it's almost like you're in that setting because there are other people in those those videos and those pictures.
Yeah.
Like I went to Germany to like this crazy castle in Germany, and at first like you can see it at a small view, but then you can actually go up into it, and I was like amazed. Like it took my breath away.
Could you imagine like you're doing that and then there's other people also doing that in the same world as you?
Yeah, I mean, I watched Ready Player One last night, and I mean, I've watched that so many times.
That's
I love it,
movie.
And like the dystopian kind of feel of like this is what's going to happen to our Earth, and you know, people are trying to escape from it, and so VR is what's happening. Augmented reality is what's gonna, you know, become
Speaking
next.
of Ready Player One, you've seen like The Shining before?
No, I haven't. I'm actually reading the book now.
You're reading the book?
Yeah, because
that's a horrible idea. It's so scary.
It's because so when it first came out, I was like saw the premiere, you know, that night because I was so ready because I'd read Ready Player One's book, you know, and I was like. I was not ready for the Shining scene at all because I hate scary movies.
Right.
And my dad was actually like, "You need to see The Shining."
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Well, you know, I'll read the book." Because I've heard that the book is like, you know, a little bit better.
No, it's way worse.
And that's what I've like found. I'm like, what did I get myself into?
No, you can't read the book on this one. You gotta watch the movie.
I know,
it's
but
so scary.
like. I mean, Stephen King hated the movie, which is crazy. Like he created this thing, and then when they, you know, translate it into a whole different thing, he hated it. Yeah, you know. But
I couldn't imagine being that like upset with a movie. Like it's like one of the biggest cult classics, like in the horror genre.
Yeah,
like, it's so scary of a movie. The book, I mean, is like way scarier. But I couldn't imagine like hating something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you see your creation in a whole different sense.
Yeah, I mean, they made it. Like there's a few scenes, I won't ruin anything for you, but there's like some scenes in it that they changed up like completely the premise, and it kind of changed up the entire story at that point. Yeah, and that's something so fragile as the story, you know. Like you got to keep that intact. But anyways, definitely. Keep going.
Well, I mean, like with Ready Player One, like. Touching on the video idea for, I mean, I have no intentions for titles. Like, I have no clue what it's going to be.
Right.
Like, most likely it'll be something like, you know, Our Earth before, you know, something. Like, Our Earth before 2600. Let's just go with that title right now. You know, obviously it'll change.
We won't be alive by then. So.
Yeah. So basically, it's like, I want to show why this happened, what happened, but then show where we can go, you know, because in Ready Player One, a dystopian style film, book, you know, of something went horribly wrong in the future.
Right.
Now, I can't see into the future, so I have no clue what's going to happen.
If you could, it'd be kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, but the whole idea around, you know, these films is to kind of show that we need to slow down. Yeah. In the sense that we need to take in what is, you know, what's around us, and I think that this film, this maybe it's going to be a docuseries, maybe it's going to be a documentary, you know, I don't know, but you know, that's just kind of show people and to kind of open their eyes to being like, you know, we need to slow down and we need to take in what's around us. And even if you can't travel to these places, you have other means. Like sure. VR actually is quite inexpensive as of now. Yeah. You know, you can buy Oculus Rift for $400. You know, it's not that crazy. Right. And you can travel anywhere. I mean, like I said, it took my breath away the first time. Like I was stunned.
That's pretty, like, I'm intrigued with that. Like I definitely like going to somewhere else, even if it's a virtual reality, and be able to interact with like your environment, like walking up into something, that's just badass. Like,
It's
that's
amazing.
so cool.
And what's cool is that you have the ability to create anything in Oculus Rift and in VR.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have, people who I play with where I don't know their real name. Like that's the whole, point of it, is that, they're your friend in the virtual reality world. Right. And the sense that you don't want to know who they are outside of it. Yeah. You just know their virtual reality self. Yeah. And I mean, we play, you can travel to all these different places with them, and you get to know them.
Do you play that in virtual reality too? Like,
yeah.
You're able to
So
go,
yeah. So like there's a game.
Now imagine you could be able to do that, like exploring through Google, like world or Earth or whatever it is. Like imagine if you could interact with other people in those areas.
And that's what Google Earth is actually trying to do.
Are they trying to do that? Yeah.
So they're trying to get a multiplayer
so cool.
thing to where, like, if me and you are both tethered up and you can link. So basically, like, I can hear you, you can hear me, and I could see like virtual reality, like image of your avatar.
Right.
Like, we could go anywhere. We could be in, you could be in the Bahamas and I could be in Egypt, and we could be talking to each other only if we're right next to each other in an office. Right. You can see anything that you can't really see, I mean, I don't know how long it is a flight to get to the pyramids and how much it is, but it's expensive.
It's expensive, for
and,
sure.
Even though, like, pretty soon we're going to have like fully interactions with these things where you can actually touch and feel them, which, I mean, it's going to be crazy, but that's what is, Ready Player One is like a prediction of the future.
Yeah.
But in a good and bad way, like, there's going to be some good aspects to where people can do what they haven't been able to, like their dreams are going to come back.
For sure.
But then, that could, hurt us in the future, with energy crisis, anything like that.
Yeah. So
like this film, I really want to show that there are good and bad things to this. Like going outside, like it's not something that you would think about, but like, even if you think, oh, California's hot, dry, anywhere. Yeah. But I mean, there's amazing things like you saw in my last video, like just going to the park. Like, I took in a completely different scene, filming than I would of just walking,
Absolutely.
And I think, it was beautiful. So like the ability to film and go and take in these different things is awesome. That's what I love about it.
That's really cool. No, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think, not to change the subject completely and stuff, but like as far as like filmmaking gear and stuff like that, you're rocking like a Canon right now, and you said you want to get into like the mirrorless world. Do you think that cameras really make or break what you do with them? Because like this is something I have a question for you primarily about, because you've always like kind of said, and this isn't like a dig at you or anything like that, but you've always kind of said like, oh, I don't have a good camera. Oh, I need like a better camera. Like, do you really think that makes like a huge deal in like the filmmaking aspect?
So that's actually funny that you say that, because I was thinking about this yesterday, and when I was, releasing this other video, and my whole perspective changed completely, and it was insane because I mean, I have an old camera, like 2013. It's 5 years old, right? And I could make these amazing.
I don't think the age really matters. I think it has to do with like the specs of the camera and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, mine does not shoot 4K. Right. I mean, it can obviously be upscaled post-production, but the things that I learned about it, and I think when I was immature when saying these things, because I didn't have the knowledge of all these different things that a camera can do, like completely novice to the camera world, and
shooting an auto or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, in the sense that I had no clue what my camera could do, and I was shooting completely wrong. Yeah, and that's when I was saying, oh, like this camera, sucks. Like I can't do anything with it. And then really taking the time, I think I spent like 2 weeks actually just taking the time and learning my camera, sitting down with it, and taking different photographs and different videos and seeing what I liked the best, and knowing my different settings. And now, I mean, I feel like now I could shoot with, one of the crappiest cameras in the world and still make something really cool out of it. Even if it's, we're always going to have evolving technology.
Dude, you made like a bitchin' movie out of it with an iPhone.
Yeah. I mean that's what I was wanting to do, because I didn't bring any camera gear with me.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to say is like, maybe the camera equipment doesn't really matter. And I'm just trying to drive this home to like maybe you and other people that maybe have that same question or something. Like, camera equipment doesn't make the biggest difference. Like I shot all of my commercial stuff on that camera right there. Yeah. It's an A7III. I'm shooting it with an Atomos Ninja right now, which is an external recorder, 10-bit 422. Only gets 8-bit out of this. So the color science or the color depth isn't like huge.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
like you can manipulate things, and as long as you have your settings and just learn what you can do with a camera, I think you can do anything.
Exactly. And that's what I was saying, like that. I mean, when we, look at these cameras, we're like, oh, okay, this is, 10 years old. This is not going to work for me, you know? And when we really get to learn it, I mean, a lot of the camera equipment hasn't changed over the year. Maybe it's gotten, a new, 4K
or higher frame rate or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, in YouTube, like the main platform is 1080p. 4K is starting to make a really big impact, but you're still shooting amazing things. Like I've seen amazing things in 720. Like it's still clear, it's not as clear as 4K, obviously, but with, cheap camera equipment, I mean, you could pick up, like I said, with my iPhone, like I was going to bring all my camera equipment and I decided not to. I was like, I'm going to try this. I have the iPhone X and I was like, I know this shoots 4K. I'm going to get some cool 60 frames per second and do, slow it down by 40% and then do some really cool slow-mo. And it amazed me at the end of it. I was like, how can my small phone that fits in my pocket do all this thing that I have to lug, a 15, 20 pound camera bag with me with, and I mean, there is nice things about nice camera equipment. I mean, you can't go wrong with it.
It's definitely, I mean, it can make a really good image look a little bit better, or it could do this, it could do that. But at this end of the day, like, where's it going? What's it going to be doing? What's it calling out? The story, like a lot of people always say this, but like story is king. Like,
yes, definitely.
Having a solid story and creating that story with visuals is way better than if there's any kind of like blurriness or if there's any kind of like, nobody wants to watch like a shaky video, but if it's shaky, there's times and places for all different kinds of stuff. So
exactly. And I think a big thing about, and I like with my camera, like it isn't the top of the line by any means. Like it would be considered like a middle class camera, you know? But post-production is key. Like that's where you make or break the video.
For sure.
And the sense that with my iPhone, I was not expecting to get like that great of a cinematic. And at the end of it, I was like, wow, like in post-production, it was actually the white balance was amazing on it. And all I did was hit record and, I got these, I mean, all I used was a really small tripod. I didn't even use any stabilizers, just like a 2-point, I guess, for, just one hand on the tripod and one on the camera. And so, I mean, it blew me away that I could do this with almost no gear at all.
So do you think that limiting yourself to what you have with you is probably like the best thing to do? Do you think it creates more creativity? It creates like creativity though.
I definitely think that it gives you a time to kind of test your knowledge in the sense that when you don't have much with you, like I said, I did not bring anything with me. Like it was actually, kind of the best thing that I didn't bring anything with me because I had to improvise.
How'd you get those really like tight in shots of like the surfers and stuff?
Well, so basically what I did is I was on the rocks, like where it was like, mid-tide and I was on the rocks.
I'll link his video down below so you can watch it too. And I'll link his channel and all that stuff. But like this, it was pretty cool. Like the surfers are out and they're out there a little ways. He's shooting on an iPhone. And I was just curious, like how do you get up close to them without being, I mean, it's an iPhone. It's shooting like a 16 or 10 like millimeter. It's super wide angle, so you can't get tight
exactly.
On
and like when the beach was completely submerged, like it wasn't quite high tide yet. But what I did is I went down on the rocks and I just found a place where I could sit. And I mean, and I would thought, oh, this image is gonna suck, like because these surfers are really way out there. And at the end of it, I was like, I had nothing with me but two things: a small tripod that was just could fit in my pocket, and then my iPhone. And all I did was completely, I would watch someone catch a wave, I would follow them, and I just put my back up against a rock to try to stabilize myself because I didn't have a strap, I didn't have anything, I got creative. And that was the most fun about this whole video is I had to get completely.
It's fun watching you get like excited about it.
I mean, I had to get very creative with this in the sense that I never thought I would. In one of the shots, there's a jellyfish on the beach. Okay, and what I did with that is I had to basically get really close to it, but I had to keep my body, because I didn't want to take the time to go all the way around the jellyfish. So I was like stretching in different, ways. And when I saw that clip, I was like, wow, this actually came out really cool because, the jellyfish has really pretty colors, but I had to like get up close with this creature where I would not get up close otherwise,
That's pretty cool.
And I mean, with only 2 things in my pocket, I was able to create this amazing thing in my mind that I was like, I've never thought I could do this, in that video alone, I probably learned, more things than my other previous 5 videos, and where like those videos were like vlogs and daily, daily activities or weekly activities, where this one video was, I don't know, it was like a 3-minute video or something like that. I learned probably 20 new things, and I was able to put that, in post-production and in an actual, actual shooting day. And I think I was there for 3 days, and I filmed that whole video in about 12 hours, I think. I would just pull out my camera and be like, I really like this shot, I'll go to a beach and be like, wow, the waves, they look really pretty right now. And I would just get that. And then I talked to a bunch of surfers. I was like, hey, would you mind if I film you guys, catching waves? And they're like, absolutely, man, we would love that, And I met a lot of new people through it.
That's
and
awesome.
They were actually kind of surprised because I showed them the video and they were like, you shot that on only an iPhone. I was like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was playing around with settings. I was playing around with 4K. And so it's the ability to go there with only 2 things, 3 things, or your whole camera bag. You can create amazing things with the simplest of things,
Absolutely.
Like people always say iPhone, it sucks, like the camera quality is horrible, but when you really know what you're doing, you really take the time to learn it, you can do these really, really amazing things with nothing. I mean, you can do it with the cheapest gear in the world, It's just how you manipulate it to fit what you're trying to do.
Definitely. That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to go over? Like, is there anything you wanted to say, like, to people out there, like on my channel or your channel? Because I'm going to assume this is going to go up on both of them.
Yeah. I mean, I love what you do.
Thanks.
And if you definitely haven't checked out, obviously you probably have since you're watching this. But definitely check out, Karl's videos. He creates this amazing things out of, virtually nothing where
I'm not asking for a plug, but
no, but just, I mean, he can create these amazing things, and that's what I'm basing mine off of is what he creates. And, I mean, that's what I think I've learned the most is watching your videos and kind of mimicking that and, and then twisting what you do into what I like, And so, I mean,
I think that's just how creators really do create. I mean,
and that's
we always say, oh yeah, we don't want people copying us. Like there's a lot of YouTubers that are like, don't copy the style I have. I've seen like Casey Neistat or Peter McKinnon or any of those people like in my eyes, like copying people like that. Sure. People comment, they're like, oh, this is a Peter McKinnon vlog, or this is a Casey Neistat type vlog. Yeah. It's like, no, it may be like the same font or the same like layout, but these are my ideas and my creation. Sure, I'm taking like their format or their style, but I'm not trying to like copy it. There's only one of them. There's only one Peter McKinnon. There's only one Casey Neistat. There's only one Justin O'D show. There's only one of them. But you can emulate them in like wanting to create something that's kind of like them, like because you have like a respect for them or something like that.
And that's where I think we learn the most as creators is looking at other creators.
Trying to create like somebody else is the biggest thing, I think.
I mean, that's where I think my film skills and everything has come from is just looking at Peter McKinnon, looking at all of these, Justin O'D show and Casey Neistat, looking at all of these, really famous creators. And just saying,
not the Pauls, not Logan Paul or anything.
I mean, well, the thing with that is I look at creators who are similar to me in the sense that like what they do, their film style. Like I found all of these people who, are like in a community.
That's a really good way to look at it. Honestly.
Where they like doing what I like doing, and they have found success doing that. So I think that they have found what people like and what they like to look at, and what they like to view. Definitely. And so you definitely need to take something from that, and definitely I don't think you should copy it exactly. I think you should twist it into whatever you want.
For sure.
Take the style and then twist it how you want to and how you feel it fits you. Because honestly, as a creator, we're not doing it for the audience. We're doing it for us.
Yeah.
That's the end of the day.
I mean, we all want some sort of like recognition or some kind of like tangible look, like somebody watched my video and they give it a thumbs up or something. That feels good. But I totally know what you're saying. Where it's I mean, the true like good feeling is when you hit upload and you get to go back and watch your video and you're like, yeah, now I can get that off my chest.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said at lunch, like I had people that, normally would, kind of, they're my friends, but they would, they'd be like, oh, this video wasn't that good, And then when I started this new style, people were coming at me saying, this is an amazing style. This is what we like. And to be able to find that was amazing. Like,
yeah, your niche or something.
Yeah, like what I like to do and, where I like where I want to take this. And when I said like that's where I want to take it, people like agreed with me. And they're like, you need to take it here because this is where it is going to work for you. This is what we like, because I consult with like my friends, my family, and I'm like, hey, like did you like this? Like what would you change?
Your mom and your girlfriend and your brother are always going to say, yeah, we love it, we like it so much.
I mean, definitely. But like when I text you and I'm like, hey, watch this video and tell me what I can do better. Like that's what I think creators really lack in some sort is you need that constructive criticism, but you find that place where you like, and, some things that, someone says, you don't have to take that, like in the comments, the comment section can be brutal sometimes. But I think that when you take some of those comments, you definitely need to have a happy medium of where you structure it for yourself and the audience. Definitely. As a creator, that's what I think that everyone needs to do. And that's what I've kind of think that like me, you, all of these, creators have figured out and definitely. What we've, that's kind of what we've, that's what we've done. And for any other like creators who are out there that want to start creating or you have been creating, I think that's definitely like a piece of advice that you need to take is, find something that works for you, worry about the audience later, but just find something that works for you alone, and then,
find your story. Yeah. Find your creative passion.
Yeah, definitely.
And, I mean, that's where you need to stay is in what makes you happy and what you want to end up doing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think that's the best thing that someone needs to take at the end of the day, honestly.
Cool. But, yeah. Well, it was good talking with you.
Yeah.
We should do it again sometime.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right. So that's been our little podcast. I'm going to link do you want to tell them your channel name? I mean, I'm going to link it below. But...
Yeah, it's just my name. It's just Gavin Cockrell. You'll see me in a tux just posing.
There you go.
So that would be me. If you want to subscribe, I mean, that would be great. Ultimately.
No. Give him a subscription. Give him a thumbs up. He's not, I mean, I'm trying to hit 1,000 for the end of the year. Definitely not going to happen, but I'm trying to get that word out there that I'm trying that. But definitely hit up Gavin and give him a thumbs up.
That's definitely, I mean, I would love it. If you like what I'm doing, definitely hit that subscribe button. And, just to see where I take it towards, the end of 2018, beginning of 2019, if you do hit that subscribe button, then you get to follow and see what we take, our channel to.
For sure.
Yeah,
all right.
Definitely.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We'll see you in the next one.
Yep.